The Witcher 3 is full of shady individuals. You know the type. They're usually dressed in dark cloaks, walking around Novigrad, looking like they're either about to sell you something illegal or give you a quest that will somehow end up with 3 people dead. And considering they're literally called Shady Individuals, you'd think they must be up to something, right? So naturally I decided to follow them and find out if I could find anything shady. But before we start, let's take a quick look at some of the shady individuals we're dealing with. We have the brown and gray cloak guy, the dark red cloak guy, the bright blue cloak guy, less bright blue cloak guy, dark green cloak guy, and finally bright green and gold cloak guy. Yep, they're literally the same person, just different colored cloaks. Alright, so today we're gonna find out how exactly shady these shady individuals are. First of all, dark green cloak guy. So I found this dark green guy walking around Novigrad and decided to follow him. Let's call this guy DG, short for dark green. He walked towards a group of witch hunters and I was like, that's interesting. Pretty suspicious, right? Is he going to give them information? No, never mind. He just walked past them. Okay, maybe that was nothing, right? Then I started noticing something else. There were multiple shady individuals walking around, but none of them seemed to interact with each other. That's suspicious. Somehow on the way, while I was following DG, this bright blue shady guy came in between me and him. And as I continued to follow them, I started wondering if BB, here, short for bright blue guy, was going to take a different path. Oh, they went the same way. Now this is getting interesting. I was expecting BB to turn right, but apparently he had other plans. At this point, I think BB might be actually suspicious of me. And then completely unrelated, some random NPC just dies in the background. Okay, moving on. Eventually DG and BB split up, so there goes our suspicious activity. They didn't do anything together, so that was nothing. Perhaps they're trying to throw me off their scent, right? But anyways, let's continue following DG. As we continued, another DG joined up and the two of them ended up walking in a line together and then they split up. Are they passing some sort of secret messages between each other? Because they seem to join up and then split up like at random intervals. Eventually, I found 4 of them walking along the same path. Now I'm curious because they're in groups of 2, right? Where are they going to split up? Oh, they split up at the intersection. That's pretty interesting. So they go in groups of 2, maybe exchange information, and then split up at the intersection. Alright, let's go back to following DG. Now as I continue to follow him, I realize he has passed through this main square multiple times now, and he hasn't done anything. So I think he's getting into his routine now. It's time to spice things up a bit. So I tried fighting him, just to see what would happen. And then he immediately took off running, started screaming like a little weenie, bro. Surely he's gonna run somewhere. Except after a few seconds, he just went back to normal and continued walking along the exact same path he was using before. Okay, that was not what I was hoping for. So apparently getting scared wasn't enough to change his daily routine. Yeah, I think it's time to find a different shady individual. Alright, we have brown gray guy, BG for short. I followed him into this little market, right? And then he did nothing. And then guess what? He went back and did nothing. He just kept looping around this tiny market for absolutely no reason. I guess he just wanted to kill some time. Or maybe this is his favorite market. Or maybe he's actually the mastermind behind everything. Like I've been following DG and I left him. What if he sent like a message? There's like a secret ring of these cloak guys. And now they know that I'm following them. So he's trying to throw me off their scent. Anyway, I have no evidence for that, so I think he's just messing with me. So I'm gonna find another one. Okay, so I found this bright green and gold guy. Let's call him BGG, short for bright green and gold guy. Apart from the cool cloak, he was pretty boring. He just kept walking and walking and walking. Still, I suppose that's better than the guy in the market going around in circles. At least this guy was going somewhere, right? Okay, let's find someone else. This is getting boring. They're not doing anything shady. Dark red guy. Okay, so I started following this dark red cloak guy. Let's call him DR for short. And guess what? He was the first guy to actually have a voice line that activated on its own. Finally, something interesting. We're getting somewhere now.
I'd not buy that for half the price.
Except he was talking to a bunch of horses. Like, brother, there's no one there. Who is he talking to? Alright, still something though. Now as I continue to follow him, just realize that this guy seems pretty depressed. Like at different times, you just hear him saying the line, "Nothing hurts as much as life."
Nothing hurts as much as life.
Poor guy. Maybe being a shady individual isn't all it's cracked up to be. He also tried to greet some of the other shady individuals, but they completely ignored him.
Greetings.
I don't believe I know you.
Poor guy. Some of them even wondered if they knew him. They were like, "Do I know you?" Alright, so despite being the most interesting guy we've met so far, he's been the least shady of all of them. But anyway, we have to continue, right? Still nothing shady from any of these people. Okay, so now let's follow a bright blue guy, BB for short. Now this guy had a different path from the other previous ones. He's going through places in the city that I haven't been before. But after following him for a while, I started noticing a pattern that had been forming since DG. There's been like 2 main places that all of them seem to go through. The first one is the market, the one where the gray and brown guy was just looping around. And then the second one is the main square, the one with the priest of the eternal fire. Other than that, there really wasn't anything much else going on here. And honestly, yeah, I think that is pretty disappointing because I was expecting the people to do something interesting, you know, pass along secret messages, like hiding some alleyway, just waiting for someone. But so far they did none of that. Just been walking. Well, I guess they're just NPCs that go around walking on predetermined paths because they've just been programmed to walk that way. They're really not doing anything shady. They just have the name Shady Individuals, but they're not actually doing anything shady. They're just props basically. And I guess that makes sense, right? They all have the same face, there's the same character model, they just change the color of the clothes. Yeah, I think I was expecting a bit too much here. But there is one interesting thing though that I already know. During the game while you're playing as Geralt, as long as Triss is still in Novigrad, when you follow like certain shady individuals, they can actually lead you to a quest. So there's at least something more interesting to these guys than just walking around. And after following them around Novigrad, I think we finally answered the question. How shady are shady individuals in Witcher 3? Not very shady. Pretty disappointing. Anyway, this was still a pretty interesting experiment and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.